There's lots to see and to do in New Zealand, but where do you start and how do you spend your precious holiday time? In this video, I'll give you a proven New Zealand South Island 10-day road trip itinerary template. You get my local insider tips based on my day job as a New Zealand travel designer. Plus, you get a free New Zealand travel planning sheet to download. My name is Michael. Let's get started. Firstly, let's talk about some general notes for any New Zealand travel itinerary. When planning your South Island road trip, your biggest challenge will be time. Therefore, it's always best to start by selecting your dates and locations first. This will be based on your interests and what you want to see and do while traveling. For this itinerary, we'll assume that you have a general interest in nature experiences, hikes, walks, outdoor tours, culture, and good food. Once the dates and location structure is set, everything else will fall into place. It's a bit like constructing the frame when building a house. In the description box, I have listed itinerary details and additional information links. These include maps, hotels, tours, transportation options. Now let's get into details. This video is about to get very interesting, so keep on watching. With 10 days time, I recommend that you spend at least 2 nights at each location, wherever possible. That way you get a full day to explore at each location. Plus, you get a break from driving. For this 10-day South Island itinerary template, you need to have a couple of one-night stays just to break up the longer driving time. A big time saver for you are domestic flights within New Zealand. Air New Zealand has a good network with flights around the South Island. Most international flights either arrive in Auckland, Christchurch or Queenstown. So by using these domestic flight connections, you'll save a lot of time on the road. In this itinerary, I'll provide you with 2 South Island road trip itinerary options. One starts in Dunedin and the other one from Queenstown. Let's do a quick location overview with starting in Dunedin. So we have 2 nights in Dunedin, 2 nights in Te Anau, 2 nights Queenstown, Cromwell, or Wanaka. I'll talk about details later. 1 night in Fox and Franz Joseph, 1 night in Punakaiki, 2 nights in the Nelson-Tasman region. Optional, you could actually also take the train from Greymouth to Christchurch and have a couple of nights stay to explore Kaikoura or the Banks Peninsula, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Take a flight back to Auckland from Christchurch or Nelson and connect with your international flight leaving Auckland. If you find this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button below to stay in touch for more helpful New Zealand travel videos to come. For any additional questions, please use the comments box below and I will endeavor to answer them for you. Some quick thoughts about international flights into New Zealand. Most travelers arrive at Auckland International Airport. After arrival, you need to head over to the domestic terminal. You can either take a 15 minutes walk or use the shuttle service between the terminals. This coach runs every 15 minutes. There are also a number of airlines flying directly into Christchurch. These are Singapore Airlines, Emirates, Qatar, just to name a few. During the summer season, United Airlines comes in from the US directly as well, which is a big advantage. From Australia, there are direct flights into Queenstown and sometimes into Dunedin with Air New Zealand, Qantas and Virgin Australia. If you are arriving on a long-haul flight from Asia or North America, do not immediately collect your rental car and start driving. I strongly recommend that you take a taxi or shuttle to the first accommodation. Reason being, you will be tired and it's far too dangerous, especially in that first day. I know all this information might be a little bit overwhelming, but you have plenty of details in the description box below, so check them out later and continue watching for more itinerary planning information right now. Also, you can download my free New Zealand planning sheet in the description box below. This will help you greatly when setting up your New Zealand holiday. So let's look into the detailed itinerary from Dunedin first. You have 2 nights there. Dunedin is a vibrant city on New Zealand's South Island, known for its rich Scottish heritage historic architecture and lively student atmosphere. The nearby 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 Peninsula is a rugged, picturesque area just outside Dunedin. It is famous for its diverse wildlife, including albatrosses, penguins, and seals. In fact, it is the only place in the world where you can find albatross colony so close to a major human settlement. I recommend that you explore the Otago Peninsula with a combo albatross and penguin tour with Monarch Elm Wildlife Tour. I got the links in the description box. These tours start in the afternoon. Therefore, in the morning, you can explore other highlights in Dunedin, such as the local Spades Brewery or the historic 𝗬𝗏𝗸𝗀 House. For more information, check out my dedicated video about Dunedin in the must-visit places playlist below. Pick up your rental car in the morning and travel to Te Anau. You have 2 nights here. It's good to know your national driving license needs to be written in English. Otherwise, you will need an official translation into English. See more information in the New Zealand trip planning playlist linked in the description box below. With an early start from Dunedin, I do recommend a detour traveling via Nugget Point and Invercargill. This drive will take longer, but it is so rewarding in terms of the scenery. You'll be traveling the heartland of southern New Zealand through Balclutha, Gore, Invercargill, and along the southern scenic route via Riverton and 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃. Check out yet another dedicated video in the New Zealand road trip playlist below. Now you have a full day to explore the Fiordland region from Te Anau the next day. Head into Milford or Doubtful Sound, do some local hikes such as the Kepler, Ruthven or Milford Track. Again, I got more videos in the playlist below. After Te Anau, traveling towards Queenstown, Cromwell or Wanaka. Again, you have 2 nights here. Start exploring Queenstown in the afternoon. Queenstown is a far busier place than Wanaka or Cromwell. Again, check out some of my videos with a must-visit places playlist. Cromwell or Clyde, which is further into the central Otago area, are more quiet locations to base yourself, especially if you're interested in delicious wines, tasty food, and scenic cycling. The Otago Rail Trail and the Lake Dunstan to Alexandra Bike Trail are major attractions in these days. Wanaka is a very lovely spot as well to explore the central Otago region. Again, my dedicated videos and the must-visit places playlists are listed in the description box below. The next couple of places will be just 1-night stays. But hold on and continue watching as I'll point out some must-stop places along the drive. From central Otago, traveling via the Haast Pass to Fox or Franz Joseph takes about 5 to 6 hours. During this beautiful scenic drive, you'll pass from the dry Otago into the rainforest area of the west coast. There are so many places to stop along the way, such as the Blue Pools, the Ship Creek, or the Monroe Beach Walk. You will have 1 night in Fox or Franz Joseph. When heading up north from Fox and Franz towards Punakaiki, again there are lots of places to stop. Places such as Okarito, Ross, 𝗥𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 Gorge, 𝗥𝗏𝗃𝗃 Township. After your arrival in Punakaiki in the afternoon, you can check out the famous Pancake Rocks, which are right in the center, or go a little bit further into the Paparoa National Park. An important note for Punakaiki is there's no supermarket and no petrol station, so plan around that. You have 1 night in Punakaiki. When you're heading north from Punakaiki towards Westport, I strongly recommend you travel via Cape Foulwind to check out the local seal colony as well as the coastal walk. It's simply stunning. Stop for lunch in Westport before heading towards Murchison and the Nelson-Tasman region. Keep in mind, check out the petrol tank. If you're visiting the Nelson-Tasman region to see the Abel Tasman National Park, then staying closer in Mapua, Motueka or Kaikoura is an advantage. That's because the drive from Nelson to the 𝗬𝗆 National Park will take you 1 hour one way. From Nelson, you can either fly out to Auckland or Christchurch. If you are able to add 2 more nights, you could also continue to Kaikoura as well. More details shortly, which will make all the difference for your South Island experience. You will have 2 nights in the Nelson-Tasman region, so 1 full day to explore. Now let's talk about an alternative route via Christchurch. If you are keen to take the Transalpine train from Greymouth to Christchurch, then drop off your rental car at the Greymouth railway station and leave out the Nelson-Tasman region altogether. With 2 nights in Christchurch, you could do a day tour to Kaikoura, it's 2.5 hours drive one way, or to Aotearoa and the Banks Peninsula, which is much closer to Christchurch. At both locations you can do dolphin encounters and cruises. Kaikoura is famous for whale watching, seabird tours, seal swim and kayaking. Check out my links in the itinerary details in the description box. With this option, your South Island itinerary would finish in Christchurch and you could take a flight connection as needed. Let's talk about another alternative route with starting in Queenstown. If you prefer to leave Dunedin out of your South Island itinerary, then starting from Queenstown would work well. After arriving in Queenstown, best until mid-afternoon, my recommendation is to head straight to Te Anau. You could either use a rental car, keep in mind no driving after long-haul flights please, or with a local transfer service such as DragNet. These guys do pick up set times from Queenstown Airport. See a link in the description box to DragNet. Then you follow the same itinerary as with Dunedin start. This would be 2 nights in Te Anau, 2 nights in Queenstown, Cromwell or Wanaka, 1 night Fox or Franz, 1 night Punakaiki, 2 nights Nelson-Tasman. With those 2 spare days from Dunedin, you would use them for Kaikoura. By staying 2 nights in Kaikoura, you will have 1 full day available. So you could either do the whale watch, dolphin swim or any other tour you're interested in. Note, sea-based tours are always subject to sea conditions, meaning boats don't go out in high waves. The best time for sea-based tours is in the early morning, so 6 to 7 a.m. After Kaikoura, drive to the Christchurch airport, which is about 2.5 hours away. Take a flight around midday or early afternoon to connect with your international flight out of Auckland later in the day. Some general travel tips. When you are traveling in the peak summer season between November and March, early bookings are essential. You need to pre-book 6 to 8 months prior arrival, especially accommodation. That way you get the best accommodation option and also save money with lower costs for rental cars and airfares. Alternative transport options such as a motorhome will require a different planning structure. Another option is to hire a driver guide for key sections for your itinerary. You don't need a driver every day. Once at location, you can use the tours for transport. Often they pick you up from the accommodation for the day tour. Other planning tips prior to arrival in New Zealand are also listed in my New Zealand checklist video. As a summary, the 10-day road trip for New Zealand's South Island travel itinerary gives you a great head start. Use my itinerary layout with the recommended services, links in the description box below. Note, if you make reservations through our affiliation links, we may receive a small commission to fund our service. I will create more of these New Zealand sample travel itinerary videos, so watch out, join our mailing list and forward our details to your friends and family. We thank you so much for your support. If you find this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button below for more helpful New Zealand travel videos to come. Again, you can download my free New Zealand travel planning sheet in the description box below. This will help you greatly with setting up your New Zealand holiday. See you in the next video.